This video is to show you how to use Excel on your iPad to calculate your mean, mode, 5-number summary, that is the minimum, Q1, median, Q3 and maximum, as well as to calculate the range and the interquartile range. Now in this case I actually have 4 sets of data as such. I have 2 sets of bivariate data. So I've got an experiment 1 which had an age with then a maximum heart rate of each person, and then I've got the same for experiment 2. So as such I actually have 4 sets of data when it comes to finding things like the mean, the mode, the median. So with that I'm going to show you how to do the first set. So you may just have 1 set of data, you may have 4 like I do. So if you've just got the 1 set, obviously you just need to listen to the first bit. So for this one here, if you're calculating the mean, you're going to click in under where I've got mean and next to experiment 1 age, so our first variable. And when we're using Excel, if we want to get Excel to do a calculation for us, we always want to start with an equal sign. It tells Excel that you're going to be doing or getting them to do a calculation. So from there, they use for mean, they actually use the word average. So we're going to go AVE, start writing the word average, and you can see already it's popped up. So you don't need to write the full word average. Once you start writing it, it will come up. So you're going to double tap there, just that first one, and now it asks you to decide which data you want to find the mean of. So I'm going to click on the number 15 and take the little dot at the bottom right hand side of that cell and drag my finger across until I get to the 71. And then I'm just going to click return, and that does the calculation for me. As simple as that. So then I'm going to go across and I now want to calculate my mode. So again, we're going to start with an equals and we're going to click in mode. So again, once I start typing it, you can see the word mode comes up. And so then I'm going to again highlight that same set of data and then press return. We're now going to do minimum. So equals min, all very obvious these ones, pretty much what they are. So again, click, double tap minimum and select from 15 through to the 71 for my set of data and press return. A quartile, now these ones are a little bit trickier, so just make sure you're listening to this one. So it is a quartile again. Just tap that first one. Now this time it asks for an array and then a quartile. So the array means which cells are you asking us to find the quartile one from, or the lower quartile from. Now where it's got the word quart, if you tap that there and you put the number 1 because you want to have the first quartile. If you were doing the same to find the median, you press number 2 because it's the second quartile. And then if you wanted to find your upper quartile or your Q3, you'd click number 3. You'd put that in. So you do it the same way, just you change your numbers. So you can either have a 1, 2 or 3 in that case. And we're going to hit return, and there's our first quartile. With our median, so you can do it the same way with the quartiles, or you can just simply write median. So I'll just show you that. So median, it's a bit easier because you don't need to show which quartile we're talking about. So again, select your data and return. Okay, so quartile 3, you will need to go back to that quartile. So quartile, choose that first one, select your data as the array, and then click on the word quartile, and you're going to click 3 this time because we want the third quartile. For maximum, again, equals max. So double tap on the word max, select your data set, and press return. Now, Excel doesn't actually have a formula like we've just been doing for range and interquartile range, but we can easily get it to do the calculation. We know that range is just the maximum subtract the minimum. So we're just going to say equals. Again, we want Excel to do a calculation for us. We want to choose the maximum. So click on 71 minus, click on the minimum, which is 15. Okay, and return. And so it'll do that calculation for us. Our interquartile range, we're going to say equals. It's our Q3. So click the third quartile, 52, and subtract quartile 1, so 25, and return. Okay, so there you have it. That's if you just had 1 data set, that's all you need to do. Now, because we've got the 4 data sets and because I've set it up the way I have, we can actually take this data here. So if I highlight the numbers we've just found, and if you see it as I highlight it, it pops up and it asks us to choose from the following. If you choose fill, you'll see that the little dots have now turned to a square at the corners of the selected cells. And so you're just going to choose the one at the lower right. And if you drag that down, you can actually drag that down for the cells. I'm just going to move that keyboard out of the way. so I didn't drag it far enough. So I'm just going to do the same thing again. So if I select those first ones and go fill, and I want to just drag it down for the full cells. Now what happens is Excel's pretty smart, and they say, all right, well, because you've shifted it down, we're going to take the data below. So if we just tap on that maximum heart rate mean, for example, you can see that the data that it's looking at is it's looking from B2 to N2, which is in fact the data we want to find the average of. So B2 is your 190, over to N2 is your 105. So it's that second row of data, which is perfect. Okay, just to show you that it all works. So each time we're going to see in all of these B2 to N2, B2 to N2 each time. Okay, you can see they're all doing the same thing. For age, in experiment 2, you can now see it's now looking at B3 to N3. Okay, so it's, again, we can tap across, see it's the same each time. Oops, I just went up. So it's all the third row this time. So we're looking at the right set of data. And again, for our final set, our maximum heart rate for experiment 2, if you tap, you can see that it's looking at the fourth row, B4 to N4. So you can see all of these are doing that. So there you have it. You've been able to find your mean, your mode, your 5-number summary, as well as your range and your interquartile range to measure the spread of the data, and do it quite simply using Excel.